All right, a couple of years down the road, you are relaxing at home. It's the evening. You're uh you're sitting on your back porch that has like a screen around it so there's no bugs getting in or anything like that.
Fuck yeah. Screened in porch.
It's just a beautiful fall evening. You turn on the radio. Lanalax, but the S is a dollar sign. It's basically it's like just all sports talk all the time. And they also call there's a vote every night on which game that they're going to do play by play for. Um and they kind of do it on a they tally it on a curve basically. So like one vote for a Yankees game equals like, 8 votes for, you know, the Nationals or whatever. I don't know how well the
Okay.
Nats are doing.
Not good.
Okay, so then there you go. So,
Yeah.
and if you do an active service and you can document it and prove it and send it in to uh to the station, then that counts as an automatic 15 points.
An active service.
Yeah, so like helping like an old lady across the street, um getting a cat down from a tree branch, you know,
Okay. So
registering people to vote.
anything that sounds like a leave it to Beaver. Active service.
It's very Beaver-esque. And so tonight they are broadcasting the the Toronto Blue Jays versus the so they're doing this new thing where for one game uh for one game a season uh they play against a college team. So they're playing the University of Texas.
Wait, the pro team is playing the college team?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just a new promotion that they're doing. It's called the Step It Up Initiative, where it's all like the second stringers of the major leagues versus college teams. And even though they're like the second stringers, like, they still, just absolutely mop the floor with the fucking.
Baseball doesn't really have like a second string so much. I mean, they have so like, is this like the professional Toronto Blue Jays like MLB
Yeah.
team? Was it like a
Mhm.
minor league affiliate?
No, it's the major league thing. So this
Okay.
has been spearheaded by. So this is a few years down the road. The Toronto Blue Jays have actually been bought by this guy, this Canadian guy named Noel. Noel
Yeah.
bought. Yeah, so he started a thing called the Waghorn Conglomerate, and it's like a business group that buys up existing brands or properties or whatever, and kind of to put their own unique spin on it. So Noel was like, hey, we should let's try to get more eyes on education, eh? And everyone's like, sorry. And so they that's like the new initiative, the Step It Up initiative.
How the
And
fuck
they
does buying a baseball team bring more eyes to education?
no,
Oh,
no,
because
no.
they're having them play a college team.
Yeah. And they're also, yeah, just being like, and all the proceeds from that game, They go to um the UT, the new school. There's this new school at the University of Texas a few years down the road. It's the School of Witchcraft. UT has become the first college to open its own school of witchcraft. And it's not like a thing where people are necessarily, casting spells or anything like that. It's more like a history of, of witchcraft. Though there
So
does
it's not
seem
a
to be,
practical,
though
it's not
it's
like
not very
applied
practical, no.
witchcraft.
No, but though there are whispers around campus, Aaron, that there is in fact like a secret society of the School of Witchcraft. And they're actually pretty out in the open about it. So the proceeds
This,
go there.
yeah, fine. Why is it there a school dedicated to the study of witchcraft?
Because witchcraft has made quite the comeback in the zeitgeist. There
Enough
are
to enough to have a fucking school of witchcraft at like one of the most prestigious public universities in America,
yeah,
home of the school shooting.
the fucking the president of UT, uh Chris Tanner. Um his wife is
Chris
like a
Tanner.
Chris Tanner. His wife is like a neo pagan like witch lady, That's just what she's into. And that's how she was raised. And so she's able to kind of put a little bit of influence into it. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. Though, there are some people that say that he only did it just because like to save their marriage, basically.
It's a public school. He can't just snap his fingers and like create a new school of witchcraft. Like there would have to be infrastructure in place. There'd have to be a year of hiring, probably,
Yeah.
like this isn't just a thing he can, snap his fingers and it's done.
They converted the like the basketball court or whatever. There's no more basketball at UT. That's where like the new School of Witchcraft is located in. They've
Oh man.
remodeled it, obviously. But yeah, there's no more basketball there. They lost a bet.
They just opened up this building. It's like the most advanced state of the art facility in college basketball, and they host like concerts and shit there.
It
They bet
seemed
that.
it seemed like a very surefire bet though, in their defense. So
I don't give a shit, to be honest with
anyway,
you.
so
These guys are making horrible decisions. Horrible.
so you're sitting there you know, enjoying the cool breeze and listening to the Toronto Blue Jays just absolutely slaughter the Texas Longhorns.
Sure.
There's a there's this like play-by-play announcer talking.
Yeah.
He's this dude. You're actually pretty psyched because he is. So the way that it works is they vote on what the game is, and then the announcers, then call it, And so they win, and so the announcer, the color commentary guy is this guy. Uh, his name is Tough Guy Lenny, and he's like, oh yeah, here's what they got to do to win today. Like he kind of talks like that, He's like, oh yeah.
He says, "Oh yeah," a bunch.
He ends like, yeah, he'll be like, and that's the sacrifice bunt. What a great play. Oh yeah. And you hear him
Oh
like,
no.
and you hear him like chewing something. He snaps into something, and
Oh
it's
no.
a
Cat.
little hard to tell. You know what it is, obviously. So he's like
I
the
I had no idea that's what you were doing. Tough guy Lenny is supposed to sound like the Macho Man, Randy Savage, the late great
I'm just
Macho
saying
Man.
that's his name. That's what he sounds like. And you love this guy. You know, he'll be like, they're pounding him out right now. Oh yeah. You know?
God damn.
I'm not saying that it's, I'm not saying it's dead on or anything. It's just the voice that the guy uses. And so you listen to him call the game, and you are just kind of enjoying the evening. Suddenly there's you hear like a knock on your front door. They're like you hear like night mail. What do you do?
I go get it.
You open the door. The night mailman is like walking away. He kind of like briefly like wait looks over shoulder and kind of waves at you. You're like, all right, thanks, Brian. He's like, see you soon, Aaron. Like keeps walking. You look
So
down.
we have a pre-existing relationship.
Yeah, he's your night mailman,
Okay.
and it's been that way for years now. You guys
Great.
don't have much of a, I mean, you guys don't really like, I mean, you guys are friendly to one another, and hey, how's your day going? Pretty good, sir. What about you? Hey, just trying to get like you, my friend. And he'll be like, oh, and sometimes you'll have like lemonade and stuff for him. Uh, but anyway, so he leaves, and one time you actually saw him. You were out at a restaurant, and you look over, and like just a few tables away is your night mailman, and you guys like make eye contact, and you kind of like hesitantly wave a little bit, and he kind of like nods at you, and it's to be honest with you, it's a little awkward.
I can see that.
You get your food to go. It's just never brought
Because
up.
of that.
You just kind of figured you should get home. So you look down, and on your front porch is a VHS tape. And you look down and you think to yourself, oh, it's here. A few weeks ago, and you're not really certain where exactly this is coming from, because there's no like return address or anything like that. But there have been like someone has been leaving like VHS tapes on your front porch. It's this series of this movie series that you've never heard of before. Like the first time it happened, like you open your door and you look down, it's a VHS thing, and like you look at it, and it's like a very late '80s action filmy type of thing. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
it's called the Shadow Warriors. And you're like, what the fuck
All
is
right.
this? And it's this series of these guys called the Shadow Warriors, who like the tagline is like, wherever there's shadow, we'll be there.
Oh
And
man.
it's like a very over the top series, action series where there's um, the characters, some of them like are supposed to know karate, and one of the actors, these are all actors you've never heard of before. One of the actors, like he like can kind of do it. He's like not that great, but the rest of them are actually pretty good at it. So the action is kind of cool, and it clearly has a budget, but it's not that great.
Yeah. The Shadow Warriors.
And you fucking Love it.
Love it.
There's something about the Shadow Warriors that really speaks to you. There's something about the idea that like because it's all seemingly put together by like one guy. The guy who can't really do karate that well.
Yeah.
He's the director and like the writer,
Yeah.
the producer, the executive
It's a vehicle
producer.
vehicle for him. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's other people in it, but
Sure.
he plays every single Shadow Warrior.
How many Shadow Warriors are there?
There's four. The
What are
main
their names?
Doug is like the main guy.
Doug. What an intimidating name.
Yeah,
Doug.
Doug Falcon. And there's so he's like the main guy. There's this guy, he's known as Snake Eyes. And
Okay.
he's like the wild card of the group, you know. Um and he has like these he has guns that he claims are that were forged from like the Holy Grail, the Grail used by Christ at the Last Supper. That's what he says, but you don't really and people are always like, all right, like, whatever, Snake Eyes, but no one has the balls to touch these guns. They're just like, well, what if it is, That's sort of like the bit with him. There's this guy, his name is uh Purvis Malone, and he's sort of like the stereotypical nerd guy, like he
Yeah.
always has like a computer with him, and he's like, um, oh, you better, magnetize the accelerator, otherwise we're doomed. And then Snake Eyes is like, say it in English, pal, and he's like, we're gonna fucking die,
That sucks.
Purvis Malone.
That sucks.
Along the way, he finally loses his virginity. That's like part of the his thing. Um, and then there's this guy who he's like a biker, and people just call him the Breeze.
The Breeze?
Yeah, the Breeze. He's the most mysterious of all of them. He has like a leather jacket that he like, snaps up, He just doesn't open up. Not yet, at least. So so it's this just showed up on your oh, so yeah, they're all like played by like the same guy. So they just started like showing up on your doorstep. And again, you're like, holy shit, this is so bizarre. And they just keep showing up. And you're like, fuck yes. It's Shadow Warriors Part 5.
So I've seen volumes 1 through 4.
Yeah. None of them have titles. It's just part
They're
there's
just
the Shadow
numbered.
Warriors, then Shadow Warriors Part 2, Shadow Warriors Part 3, Shadow Warriors Chapter 4, which intrigued you. You were like, I wonder what that means. It turns out it's just like an error. Like they didn't really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's now, I guess, Shadow Warriors Part 5.
Great.
So, and you've tried to find out like where these are coming from, but like there's you contact the post office and they're like, oh, yeah, like you call what would you say if you would call the like what would you say to the post office?
They can't do anything. All they can tell me is where it comes from. They can't tell me who did it. They can only tell me like where it was sorted out of.
So like when you call them, uh this woman who answers, she's like, hello, this is the post office.
I
How can I
wouldn't
help
call
you
them.
today? But you do. And then you go on to be like, hey, like I don't know who's sending me these videos. And she's like, yeah, I can actually look that up for you. You know, just hold on 1 second. She puts you on hold and they play as a hold music. It's like a Muzak version of the song Shimmer by Fuel.
A Muzak version.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's like smooth jazz almost. And she comes back and she's like, "Oh, Mr. Brooks, I'm sorry, but those records were destroyed last night in a fire. 17 people died."
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
In a post office fire. They
Yeah.
died saving records that were eventually burned.
Yeah.
Jesus, what a way to go.
Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, we don't really know what started what started the fire." And you
Yeah, this
like
post office is operational the next day.
and you say after she says, "We don't know who started the fire," you were like, "It was always burning since the world's been turning." You just can't help yourself. And she goes, "17 people died, sir." And she hangs up.
I didn't want
So
to call them in the
you,
first place. I'm not going to feel bad about that.
so you are you get like super into the Shadow Warriors. And you sit down, you watch Shadow Warriors part 5. It takes place in outer space. You watch it and it's just like it was before. You know, it's like just the same kind of like clearly there's some money being put into this, but there it's still just like the same goofy characters that you know they clearly don't know are goofy, bizarre
Yeah,
pacing and
yeah,
editing choices, stuff like that. You're like, fuck yes, like this is what I need. You know,
yeah,
it's the latest release. It's these they're all put out by the same dude.
yeah.
His name is Hank Reach.
Hank Reach.
Reach.
So there is information about these online.
That's the thing is you go online and there is nothing about this guy. And you're like you know, like you start like trying to do some research about these movies because they really are strange and they'd be appreciated by like a certain group of people, you know what I mean? People who are
Sure.
yeah, a Neil Breen type of guy, you know what I mean? It's like that
Yeah,
except like
yeah.
there's heart to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I love that.
you have like the movies have made you cry before because you realize you just think about the amount of work that this guy that Hank Reach put into this, you know what I mean? How much
Sounds like
he
something
put
that
into
would make me
this.
weep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just like sit there, just like, you know, like weeping and stuff. So you, you know how there's like podcasts where there's people who, they talk about, you know, those kind of weird, bizarre, you know, so bad it's good type of movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they have, no one's covered this movie or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, and there's no information online about this guy. Like you can't like find much about him, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
So one day, you get an email, the notification pops up on your phone. You were watching there's a There's someone made Taken the musical, and you were watching it, and you're like, honestly, some of the tunes are pretty good. You thought it was a very bad idea, but they've got some pretty good songs on there, brother.
Yeah.
I
I
guess you
the
could say I'm taken with your love. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Kidnap my emotions, baby. Oh, baby, baby, yeah. So,
one song's called I Have, and then in parentheses, a particular set of skills.
and you're watching this and you're like halfway, paying attention, and you look down and you get the email notification, and it's from the email address is reach at reachfortproductions.com. Do you open it?
Yeah. Yeah, of course I fucking open it immediately.
So it's the
Immediate.
email, and it's like it basically it's from the guy, and it says like, hey,
Hank
this is gonna
Reach.
sound Hank Reach. It says like, hi, this might sound kind of strange, but I think you've been receiving some of my mail. Specifically, I've been, I'm a filmmaker, and I guess I filled out the address online incorrectly, so they've been being sent to your place. Um, just was wondering if I could, if you've received them? Question mark. Let me know,
Man.
Hank. P.S. Also, did you watch them? And if so, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would come clean and I would tell him, yeah, these they weren't addressed. There was no return address on there, but they were addressed
Yeah,
to me.
yeah. He's like,
So
well,
something got
he,
fucked up.
he's like, yeah. So his response basically says like, yeah, well, to be honest with you, I'm kind of shy about like I've never shown my work to anybody, So you can pay extra for them to like, you know, um get rid of records and stuff. So basically, I just didn't want it to like come back to me. You know what I mean? I didn't want people to be able to see this. So if so he's like, but I'm glad that it fell into trustworthy hands. And he's like, all right, well, is it okay if I come by and grab them?
I would say yeah, and I'd ask him like, can I rip these to my computer?
And his response is like, LOL, I guess. He's like, yeah, if you want.
Great, and I do that.
So you rip them all to your computer. He comes by. He's this dude. He he's bald, but he's got like the thing that goes around. You know what I mean? The back of the
The
head.
horseshoe, the Mr.
Yeah, the
Burns.
horseshoe. Yeah.
Yeet.
Um, he appears to be in his like 40s. He's he's wearing like a stylish hat, so his face is like half in shadow. He stops by late that afternoon, and he's like, he takes the tapes from you and stuff, and he's like, anyway, yeah, I thanks, man. Sorry that my stuff was getting sent to you, but I'm glad you enjoyed the stuff, man.
Yeah, I go, thanks. It was really great. And I tell him like you should show this to people. There's a whole group of people out there who like outsider art like this that would embrace what you're doing. And I promise you that you would be able to find distribution for this. and you could make some legitimate money, especially over the course of five of these things.
Yeah.
And I tell him as I'd be willing, I would obviously tell him who I was and what I did, and would be willing to help in any capacity.
He's like, oh, cool. Thanks, man. He's like, yeah, that's cool to hear. To be honest, I'm a bit of a Luddite with some of this stuff, you know? Like when you said you ripped it, I kind of, what did you mean by that? And you're
I
like,
just
yeah.
took it from the VHS to a digital format.
He's like, you can do that?
Yeah,
He goes, oh man, maybe that, that might make it a little bit easier for people to see my movies.
yeah, yeah. The technology you're using is obsolete, like several generations obsolete, not even just one. Like I get it if like you're still on like physical media, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have that. But you have to have a digital version of this. You
He's
have
like,
to.
wow,
I'll send
yeah.
it to you.
He's like, oh man, yeah, that would be cool. You like look over his shoulder, you see that like there's like a penny farthing parked in front of the front of your house.
What the fuck?
So he's like, yeah, well, it sounds like you could kind of help me out and maybe get this to get this onto the internet.
I would probably clip together a trailer of the first one. I would do
So
my best
yeah.
to clip together a trailer.
So he's like, oh man, I appreciate it. He's like, all right, well, yeah, we'll be in touch. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
He gives you a high five, jumps on his penny farthing, and just like hauls ass out of there. It's actually a lot faster than you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's substantially faster than like a regular bike.
Hmm. That sucks.
You see him kind of like do a U-turn and just like turns around and it's on like a slope, It's like it's very steep and he just like goes down like so fucking fast. And you hear him just go "Ah!" Just like alive with passion as he goes down. You're kind of like, all right.
Jesus.
So you spend, the weekend clipping together um a trailer for the Shadow Warriors. And you show it to a couple buddies of yours that are into outsider art, like that type of movies and stuff like that. Um, you guys, you put it out there, and the right people see it. You know, the people who are into that kind of thing, it like explodes on like Twitter and on like TikTok and like Instagram and stuff like that. Of
Yeah.
people just being like, "What the fuck is this movie? This movie seems like really." Really weird. Like what is this? We don't know anything about this. And so it becomes this like really huge, it starts this like online buzz to the point where you guys are actually able to bring like to do a premiere of it at the Man's Chinese Theater.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And you end up like hosting the night. So you go up in front of everybody. It's a packed house. You and Hank walk up and you kind of just give like a brief introduction. You know,
Yeah.
the light hits you both, and you suddenly smell burning tobacco coming from the top part of the theater.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Hi, I'm Aaron Brooks. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the world premiere of the Shadow Warriors." And everyone's like, "Yeah," and you're like, yeah. Anyway, maybe a few words from the director." And he's like, "Hey guys, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. Thanks, Aaron, for putting this together." And he goes, "How about a big round of applause for Aaron Brooks?" And everyone like claps. And then he's like, "All right, well, without further ado, let's roll it." You guys settle into your seats. They watch the movie starts to roll, and it's about an hour long, it's not like super long movie or whatever. The movie ends, and there's just like a silence in the theater for like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're like, "What?" And you kind of go like, "Huh?" And like you stand and like turn around, and everyone who's sitting in the theater, all of their eyes have just turned white, just complete white. And they all say in unison, "What do we do, master?" And you go, "What?" And then Hank goes, "Kill the prophet." And then everyone in the theater rushes towards you, and they all just
What the
beat you to
fuck?
death.
What the fuck? The
He's
prophet?
Yeah. So it turns it turns out that the movie had like
Hank,
he was able to use the movie to like get into people's minds and like hypnotize them and stuff. So they
this fucking sucks. This is bullshit.
he commands them to kill you, and they end up taking over from like the United States government. The movie starts like taking over. It gets like super like popular, and everyone who sees it like becomes under this guy's control. He's able
God
to
damn it.
do a coup, and he takes over America. And within 15 years, all life in North America is gone.
God damn. That sucks. So bad.
People, you're referred to. You go down in history as the prophet of hate.
Great. Who fucking cares? Everybody's dead in a generation, anyways.